Hi, everyone. This is Jennifer from Tarle Speech. First of all, thank you for your patience. One of my live streams was interfering and wouldn't let me go live. So thanks again for your patience. Welcome, everyone. Thank you, all of you who have just posted that you're here, for hanging in. I really do appreciate it. Can everyone hear me okay? If you can, give me a thumbs up in the chat or a hello or something like that. Just let me know. Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Excuse me. Today, we are talking about the T and the D sounds. The T sound is just fraught with difficulties in English because we spell the T sound the same way most of the time with the T, but the pronunciations of that T sound can be very different, and we have many variations. So for those of you who are watching, I'm going to be sharing some slides with you all so that you can read along. If you are listening as a podcast, please jump over to YouTube if you need some help. The same podcast will be posted there as a recorded video. All right. And the way this works, if you haven't been here, is that I'm going to present the information. I do check in with the questions every once in a while, but mainly I'm just presenting, and then I will take questions at the end. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and let's talk about the T sound. So the T sound and the D sound look actually, they look exactly the same. It's not even similar. They look the same. So if you watch me say the T sound, t, and then you watch me say the D sound, d, my mouth does the same thing. What I'm doing is I am touching the tip of my tongue, that part there, to the back of my top front teeth, very specifically to where my teeth meet the skin on the roof of my mouth. So that little spot where your teeth are here and then the roof of your mouth is right here, that is where my tongue is touching. Right there. T, 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 and d, d, d. So I'm touching there. The air is puffing out of my mouth, and the my lips are just open. They're not rounded. They're just kind of relaxed. Duh, duh, duh. If anything, I would characterize them as slightly pulled back. They're not smiling or anything, but they're not rounded, and they are just sort of hanging out there, a little bit pulled back. Now, what is the difference between these two sounds? The difference is voicing. So what is voicing, you may ask? Voicing is your throat. You have a voice box or a larynx in here. That vibrates, and that creates the difference between the T and the D sound. So every vowel in English is voiced. So if you put your hand on your throat and you say A, E, I, O, U, you can feel your voice here. You can feel it vibrating, moving. Your voice box is on, it's working. So the opposite is true when your voice is off. It is not vibrating, it is not moving, and those sounds are going to be a little bit softer. So we have the T sound, which is voiceless or unvoiced, and that is t, t, t. And if you touch your throat, you don't feel any vibration. T, t, t. Yes, you may feel air moving through there. That's normal, but you will definitely feel the difference when now you say d, 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 d. So again, for T, 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 and then for D, 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 d. All right, awesome. So in case you are a more visual learner, I do have on the screen right now, if you are listening, if you want to check this out on YouTube, I do have the instructions written out. So again, your tongue tip touches your alveolar ridge, which is the spot where your teeth meets the skin on the roof of your mouth. There are variations. Some people do have the tongue a little further down, some a little further back. As long as it sounds correct, that's all that matters. The air is going to puff out. If you're reading certain books or on the internet, you might see people characterize this sound as a stop. That's because the air does stop before it puffs out and your voice is off. We do have so many variations of the T sound. I'm going to talk about those briefly today, and I do have a class called The Variations of the T Sound in English on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out as well if you're interested. So the variations of the T sound are a flap, which I teach in my lessons every week as a fast D sound. It sounds like that in butter. We also have the glottal stop, which I've gotten a few questions about recently. And for my glottal stop, I use that in words like button, or mountain. We have an unreleased T that we hear at the end of words oftentimes, but it just sounds like I kind of have the sound, but I didn't finish it. And then I have the aspirated T where a little tiny bit of air kind of puffs out, and you hear that in the word stop, stop. So you can hear that little that little extra puff of air there. And we'll get into that in a second and talk about some of those. For the D sound, the difference, your mouth is doing exactly the same thing. Your lips, tongue, airflow. The difference is voicing. All right. I'm going to check questions super quickly here. All right. Century and century. Great question. So century has 2 beats. Century has 3 beats. So century, century. I hope that helps and answers your question. Okay, so Joe is asking about IPA, and there are variations, and I do find that in dictionaries, people are getting away from phonetics more and more, especially when you are just Googling and you're on the internet, and there will be more phonetic spelling. And that's more what I tend to use in my lessons because it's just one less thing to learn. And hello to everyone with your nice comments. All right. So let's talk about this T sound a little bit more. How do we spell the sound? Typically, the T sound is spelled with a letter T, 2 and softer. We also will see a double T in the word but, B-U-T-T. But, B-U-T-T, and but, B-U-T, are pronounced exactly the same. So we're not going to say 2 T's when we see that. We're just going to say 1 T. We also have the spelling TW, like in the word to. And then just another tip, the word to, TWO, to TOO, and to TO are all pronounced the same. If you get confused with those little words, those homophones that are spelled differently but pronounced the same, check out my YouTube homepage, and I have a playlist on the homepage listing all of my homophone and 2 for Tuesday videos. There's a new lesson on those every Tuesday, and that's a great way to expand your vocabulary and pronunciation at the same time. We can also spell the T sound with a TH, like in the word time or in Thomas. We have another homophone there, time. which is the spice or the seasoning, and time, T-I-M-E, are pronounced exactly the same. And then sometimes we pronounce a D as a T, and we see that oftentimes with those ED endings and in the word iced. We have a lot of concepts here. I know I keep going back to what's on my YouTube page, but once again, if you struggle with how to pronounce those ED endings, you can pronounce them 3 ways: as a T, as a D, or as an id. If you need help on that, go to my tutorials. Again, they're on the homepage. They're all linked there, and look for the tutorial on that ED ending. For D, that's a little bit easier. We have typical spellings are D as in did, and the double D. Oh my gosh, I have a mistake there, which would be in like the word waddle. All right. So when most people talk about the T sound, they are going to say T, and they're going to make that sort of like this regular T sound. And we hear this sound in the word cats, meets, misstep, steam, entrance, into. We are going to use that T, which is a little aspirated. We're going to use that aspirated T. So I called it a regular T or an aspirated T. Some people interchange those. I am going to use that before an S sound in cats, after an S sound in misstep, after an N sound in entrance. But there is an exception. When a word ends in NT, I'm going to say can't. And I'm really not going to explode that air at all. That N and T really causes some problems in terms of a nice rule for you all, because oftentimes we just drop the T altogether and we don't mark it at all. And you hear this in the word like winter, which you can say the T. Some people say winter. It's winter outside and it's snowing. And then winter and winner, I am a winner, I am the best, sound the same. All right. All right. Now let's talk about that flap T. So that flap T, I like to think about it as just a super fast D sound. If you think about it that way, typically you are going to be just fine. So again, think about that super fast D sound. And I actually make mine a little bit further back in my mouth. It's sort of right on the roof of my mouth, where I'll say da 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 da. Say really quickly. I'm moving my tongue quickly, just up and down. You can still make it where you make your T and your D sound. Just make it a little bit faster. And again, think about this as a super fast D sound, this flap T. We are going to use this between 2 vowel sounds, noted and city. We are going to use this between a vowel and an L, little, settle, cattle. We are going to use this between a vowel and an R, water, pattern. And we are going to use it after an R vowel, dirty, quarter. Then we have the glottal stop. I do just want to say that I really believe in clear communication over perfection. And so don't worry too much about using all of these variations of T's. Really focus on just being a clear communicator. I think that is always key, and it just makes things easier, because communication is just about connecting. And sometimes when you're thinking too much about the exact pronunciation, it gets a little confusing. So you can use this glottal stop if you want, but you don't have to. You can just say a T instead. So you can say gotten, important, or you can get fancy and use this glottal stop. The way that I make my glottal T is I actually put the tip of my tongue in the spot where I make a T, and then I shut the air off in my throat and I stop the air there by just stopping my vocal cords and keeping them together. Okay. So that's how I make my glottal T stop. Some people make just more of a glottal stop where they just stop the air in the throat. And that would be more like in ba, oh, that sound there. Again, I'm touching my teeth for that T, but then I am going to stop the air in my throat. Okay. So let's keep moving on here. Okay. So now let's talk about that unreleased T. Unreleased just means you're putting your tongue in the spot where your T is, and the air is just stopping for a second, but it's not all puffing out. I use this unreleased T a lot at the end of the word when I say rent. I'm sorry, I just made that released. Rent, won't, and it. You can release it just like I did, and that's totally fine. Just don't overdo it. You don't want to say rent, just rent or rent. Won't or won't. It or it. Okay, so again, I just touch my teeth and stop that sound. Okay. When do we use an aspirated T sound? We're going to use an aspirated T sound at the beginning of a word, to talk. At the beginning of a stressed syllable, between, 19. And after a consonant, but again, just be wary of that letter N sound. So you could say empty, doctor. Okay. Let's go ahead and practice some T sounds. I'm going to say the word, and I just want you to listen to my whole list. Then I'm going to say the word and you repeat after me, and then I'm going to have you try the whole list on your own. Let's go. Just listen. To, take, talk, tattle, toast. 16, steam, misstep, start, mistake, rent, it, won't, chat, sat. So again, just focus on a T. Don't worry about getting fancy. Okay, repeat after me. To, take, talk, tattle, toast. 16, steam, misstep, start, mistake, rent, it, won't, chat, sat. Now try all of those words on your own. Okay, and moving on to the D sound. Just listen. Do, done, does, doze, deliver, adding, stadium, exodus, rapidly, cloudy, bad, trade, strayed, paid, lemonade. Now repeat after me. Do, done, does, does, deliver. Adding, stadium, exodus, rapidly, cloudy, bad, trade, strayed, paid, lemonade. Now try those on your own. Okay, how did you do, everyone? Does anyone have any questions? I do see one in the chat. The word is literally. You have many choices in saying this word. You can say litter with the D sound, the flap T, literally. You can just say a T, literally. Or you can say literally, which I'm hearing more and more and more. So many options there. All right, let's try a little more practice and let's read some sentences. Just listen. Tom and Dom don't drink tea. Trudy traded places with Denise. The driver will deliver the DoorDash order in the afternoon. Okay, repeat after me. Tom and Dom don't drink tea. Trudy traded places with Denise. The driver will deliver the DoorDash order in the afternoon. And let's try those one more time. Tom and Dom don't drink tea. Trudy traded places with Denise. The driver will deliver the DoorDash order in the afternoon. All right, we are almost there, everyone. Thanks for hanging in. And to finish everybody's favorite, let's do 2 tongue twisters. The 2 nimble twins tied tiny twine to 12 teachers' tents. The 2 nimble twins tied tiny twine to 12 teachers' tents. The 2 nimble twins tied tiny twine to 12 teachers' tents. All right, how did you do? That one wasn't so bad. This next one is hard for me. Let's try it and let's see how we do. When a doctor doctors a doctor, does the doctor doing the doctoring doctor as the doctor being doctored wants to be doctored? I'm going to say that one more time, a little bit slower. When a doctor doctors a doctor, does the doctor doing the doctoring doctor the doctor being doctored wants to be doctored? I think I messed that up. When a doctor doctors a doctor, does the doctor doing the doctoring doctor as the doctor being doctored wants to be doctored? Give that a try. All right, everyone, try this one more time before we go. When a doctor's a doctor, does the doctor doing the doctoring doctor as the doctor being doctored wants to be doctored? Okay. How did you all do? I hope you enjoyed the class. We ran a little bit over, so I have just a few minutes left. Does anyone have any questions? If not, I'm going to wrap it up and sign off. While I'm waiting for questions, if you're looking for more help, you can check out my link tree, and I have links to all of my practice packages, which are PDFs with embedded audio that you can practice along with me. I have those in books for consonants and vowels. And then I also have them in single sounds because if you only need one sound, why pay for the whole thing? Also, lots of free classes here, lots of free tutorials on my YouTube page. Every Tuesday, a new homophone lesson, which are words that are spelled differently but pronounced the same way. And then I have heteronyms, which are more of word stress lessons every Friday. And those are words that are spelled the same but pronounced differently. And then every other day, I either have one of these lives. I'm going to be posting some interviews in the near future. Fingers crossed on that. And I do shorts every other day of the week, and those are super quick and fast. I just want to thank everyone for all of their support, all of your kindness, for helping each other. AR English, shout out to you for helping Joe La respond to that question. I really appreciate it. Also, people do that all the time on the comment section of the videos, and I really, really appreciate that because sometimes I can't always get to your questions as quickly as I would like to. Jose, you are welcome for your daily dose of English. I think Jose needs a shout out. You have been watching so many videos. I absolutely love it. I know that you are, making tremendous progress. Okay, someone just posted, I can't hear the ending ED sound. Depending on where you are from, many languages don't always pronounce hard sounds or consonant sounds at the end of words. And then that makes it difficult to then hear those sounds in the new language because you don't have that pattern in your brain. So, my suggestion is to maybe watch my video for that ED ending and just pay attention to those endings or listen to a podcast. Listen to a movie and just listen for sounds at the end of words, not even just the ED, but all sounds at the end of words to kind of get that pattern to stick in your brain. And then once you kind of get that pattern down, don't worry about the content or the message or the meaning. Worry about the sounds. Think about the sounds that you're hearing. And then you can go back and put the meaning on top of it. And that should be a little bit easier. So I hope that helps you. So thank you, everyone. I have another live scheduled for Friday. So check out YouTube or your socials for the information on that. And again, thank you. You all make my job just so much better. And I just really appreciate all of you. So have an amazing week. And I hope to see you all again tomorrow for my 2 for Tuesday and on Friday at my live. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.